Welcome back. If anybody's already here or watching the replay, then welcome to, I think this is our 14th iteration of our live class. So feel free to say hello in the comments whether you're watching this live or on a replay. And today we'll be diving into something really cool, because a really common topic for everybody is what to talk about, right? Friends. It's a great neutral topic to discuss. Opportunities for us to connect with somebody based on the movies we like watching or the series we prefer to watch. So in the second part of our life, we're going to be looking at some really cool, useful phrases or words you can use to describe movies beyond words like good or bad or boring or exciting. So you'll be able to talk about some of it as well. I'm just going to have to, as usual, set up the live on TikTok, and then we're going to be jumping in. Now, in the meantime, we'll be doing some review. You guys know, if anybody knows, in my classes, we never do a class without reviewing. We never do a class without looking at vocabulary again and again, because repetition is the mother of all knowledge. And everybody knows that we improve our vocabulary and speak way more effectively, remember that vocabulary in the middle of our conversations when we review things, right? So take a look while I set up my TikTok live at these blue boxes and think about what word they might be covering. What is that word behind the blue squares or rectangles? And hopefully my live is up pretty soon. Awesome. I'm just gonna have to put this over here and hopefully I can see everything. Cool. So these are expressions we looked at a week ago. I wasn't able to go live here on YouTube because I was from my iPad. My computer wasn't working or wasn't charged. But we had a look at useful expressions you can use in the office in the topic of, I'm just gonna put this on, in the topic of coming up with ideas, offering ideas, or proposing ideas, and then responding to them as well. So we want to have a look at an example here. This is a discussion with, hello, ADG Kanbiju. Great to have you back. Guys, oh, I forgot to leave that in, so I'm going to have to close this up. Sorry, guys. Okay, big mistake. 14th class, but still don't know how to do all of this. And guys, if anybody's on YouTube, let us know. Say hello in the comments, and I'll be able to reply back to you. And please be, an active participant. Lives are all about our community connecting with each other, and confidence all comes from taking courage, right? Taking all those courageous actions, leaving comments, using the language, experimenting, seeing if our theory works, seeing if we know how to use those expressions correctly. So feel free to leave comments as well. So I'm going to have to go back on YouTube and figure this out. Now, in the meantime, any ideas on what the first the smallest rectangle could cover? So it says we're getting closer to launch date. This is a conversation in the publisher's office, right? What is a publisher's? A publishing company. What do they do? They publish books, right? So that's what they're discussing. They have a plan, right? A launch, a book launch, and they are planning that all out. So got the link, I believe. Yeah. So the first one is pretty simple. When we think about worth, right? Worth is an adjective. So the only way for us to be able to use that word correctly is with the verb be. So anytime you want to say, you want to propose an idea, a great expression we can use is right here. It might be worth organizing a virtual tour, right? It might be worth organizing. We can think of any other things as well. The important thing is for us to use the verb right after worth in ing, right? So in the gerund form. So we can use expressions like, or an example like, where's my green screen? It might be worth going home 2 hours earlier. It might be worth taking a break after the first hour of our meeting. It might be worth hiring a new member. It might be worth expanding or I don't know, our data, right? Or expanding, what can you expand? It might be worth expanding our reach. So really, really useful way to propose an idea. Right now, if we have a look at the second one, is the answer says that's worth considering. Authors have seen good engagement from virtual tours recently. And then it says a different would be focus on social media promotions. We could create teasers and countdowns as well. You guys know what this means. What is a teaser? Anybody knows what that means? And if anybody's joining us on TikTok, there's a link in my profile. You can click that link and join us live on YouTube. We are live currently, have a live class on YouTube. Just click the link on my profile, you can join us. So what is a teaser? Anybody knows what a teaser is? Usually we watch teasers, right? Before movies as well. So they talk about books here, but there might be a teaser before a movie. What is a teaser? It could be anything we can think about, right? Is a short clip that it's meant to tease you. So you start, yeah, it's a kind of video, but it's meant to tease you into watching that movie as well, right? But great one. If anybody's joining us on TikTok, feel free to click the link. There's a link in my bio where you can join us, the live class on YouTube. We're currently live on YouTube. And then countdowns are obviously the ones where we practice going back in time and seeing how many hours we have left till the launch. Okay, now the second one, this is something we looked at about a week ago. So if you were here on our live class a week ago, you probably saw these expressions that we looked at. And a word we can use in this case is a different, and I guess we can say a different approach. Okay, a different approach would be to focus on social media promotions. So another really cool sentence we can use to propose an idea. A different approach would be to XYZ, right? Anybody who has meetings in English, right? These are really, really cool phrases. We want to learn how to propose ideas, how to respond to ideas, because a meeting is all about that, right? Coming up with ideas, proposing ideas, and then discussing them, evaluating them. So a really cool sentence you can always use is, a different approach would be to, and it might be worth, to use really useful phrases. So if I ask you to come up with an idea to, I don't know, to lose weight, what would you propose? What idea would you propose? Think of a sentence to use in this case. What would you either say? A different idea, a different approach would be to, or it might be worth something. What ideas would you propose to someone who wants to lose weight? Let's use an example in the comments. Whether you guys are on YouTube or on TikTok, what is an expression we can use here? So we'd simply say a different approach would be to reduce your calories, right? Or it might be worth going to the gym 3 times a week, right? It's a really cool one as well to use. All right, and the third one, what could be missing there? That would be tricky. This is also a pretty good one. When we don't like somebody's ideas, it's really important for us to be polite, but also tell people that we don't like their ideas, right? So how do we do that? We simply say politely that it's not a good idea, right? Instead of saying that it's not a good idea. So in English, one of the most important things is to be always bearing in mind what the speaker says, right? This is how English is a little bit different from a lot of languages. It's kind of similar to my experience with Japanese, where we want to think about the other person, right? So you don't want to say this is a bad idea. We want to say that, well, I think that would be tricky, which is a really polite way to say that's a bad idea, right? So always remember that expression. I think that will be tricky. Okay, guys, if you like the live, let's bring in more people. Let's hit that screen a few times. Let's bring in more people so they can also have access to this really cool conversation class where we can have a look at these useful expressions. And then I'm gonna move on to the next slide over here and also on YouTube. So we've got another sentence here, right? It says, alternatively, we could try a mix of both virtual tours and social media. That way we cover all bases, right? So again, pretty cool expression. Alternatively, we can use that to propose an idea. If somebody doesn't like our ideas, if you remember, we have this expression before, a different approach would be, or I think that will be tricky, or it might be worth organizing. But this is a pretty cool one as well. Alternatively, if you want to offer a new idea, just simply say, alternatively, we can do this and this and this and this, right? And then in the answer, it says, I recommend that, I suppose. So if you have a look at the second sentence, it might spread our resources too thin, which is a really cool phrase as well. What does it mean? It might spread our resources too thin. Anybody knows? This is a phrase or an idiom. What does it mean when you spread yourself too thin? Thank you, Mehdi. Great to have you here. Thank you for the likes. Guys, if anybody's on YouTube or on TikTok, there's a link in my bio. You can click the link and join my YouTube channel where we are having the class live, and it might be way more convenient to watch the live over there. So join us on YouTube if you want and participate in the comment section. Thank you, Matt. That helps a lot. So what does it mean when we spread our cells too thin? There's an expression, right? You might be spreading yourself too thin, or don't spread yourself too thin. Anybody knows what that means? Thank you, Sulaiman. That helps a lot. This idiom, spread yourself too thin, is something we use when we spend too much money. So when we overspend, we spend more than what we earn, create a lot of debt. That's when we spread ourselves too thin, right? So you could say, I don't want to buy a sofa for $5,000 because I don't want to spread myself too thin, right? Really, really good expression to remember. So do you guys think in this box, it's something we saw about a week ago. It's a pretty cool one to respond to something you don't like. When there is an idea, they propose to you and you don't like it. It's a really, really cool one. And it says, I recommend that. So do you think the word is going to be would recommend that or wouldn't recommend that? If you look at the second sentence there, right? Would you say I would recommend that or I wouldn't recommend that? It says, well, it might spread our resources too thin. Sulaiman had a comment here. Guys, say hello in the comments on YouTube. Don't be shy. We are not shy on my lives. We take courage. We are brave. We experiment. We make mistakes. We are proud of ourselves for trying. Because the worst thing you can do to build your confidence is hiding, right? So we don't hide. We take action. So feel free to leave comments, fire up the comment section, and use the examples that we're learning. So Sulaiman had a question. Do you offer training for IELTS exams? I do have private lessons for IELTS. If you're interested, I'd love to help you. Whichever skill you need, whether it's reading, writing, listening, I've got lots of resources, and obviously for speaking as well, lots of vocabulary trainings. If you're interested and serious about improving and getting that IELTS, message me, just say hello, or send me the word fluency and we can talk, okay? I would love to help you, Sulaiman. I've done, like I was living in London. A lot of people were coming to London to start studying at a university, right? And they were all really into like learning about the IELTS and preparing for the IELTS. So if you're interested and committed, then I'd love to help you build that confidence for the IELTS and all the skills that you need to pass it. So let me know, okay? Just send me a message with the word fluency or say hello in a message on my profile and then we can talk, okay? All right, so here we would definitely say, I wouldn't recommend that, right? Brilliant, we have Nada here who's commenting, awesome, awesome. I wouldn't recommend that, it's a bad idea. So anytime somebody proposes an idea, right, at work, maybe at a meeting, and you don't like it, you don't want to directly say, well, this is a bad idea, because it's rude. Instead, we can always say it politely. And one of them is, I wouldn't recommend that, right? So let's stay with our topic, like losing weight. So I'm trying to lose weight now. Should I go and eat fast food? Should I eat a burger? And you could say, well, I wouldn't recommend that. Okay, it's a bad idea, just way more politely said. Let's always remember that learning English is not just grammar and vocabulary. So much more than that, right? Learning English is about how to be more polite, how to use the correct words, how to communicate effectively, clearly, and confidently. So let's not just get obsessed with grammar and vocabulary, but also focus on communication. Super important. Thank you, Sulaiman. Super, super grateful for your likes. Then the next one says, there's something that balancing both could be a challenge. So this is a really cool expression you could use when you love an idea. If you really love an idea and you want to support an idea, right? A great way to do that is to say, well, there's something in that, right? Saying that, I really love this idea. This makes sense. We always want to remember that we don't just want to say things, we also want to learn how to respond, right? So many times people come and say, oh, I don't know what to say. Like, I don't participate in a conversation because I don't know what to say. Now, this is where you can practice what to say, right? How to react when someone proposes an idea, for example. So we've got, there's something in that, which is, again, I like the idea. Although it says balancing both could be a challenge. And then the last one, and then we're going to move on to what I was planning today, is going to be, thank you, so Sulaiman keeps liking the live. Probably about 2,000 likes are all thanks to you. Thanks so, so much. So the last one, it says, worth considering. Abdullah Mohammed, thank you so much for the follow. Welcome, welcome. It could, so it says, something worth considering. It would give readers a chance to engage directly with the author. Anybody, especially on YouTube, guys, what would be an idea we can use here? What would be a word we could use that rectangle covers? Worth considering. It's a compound. It's a, what is it called? A contraction. So it's actually two words. What would you use there? Any guesses, especially guys on YouTube? If anybody's on YouTube, feel free to leave comments as well. And here, B, ideas worth considering. That's a great one. Ideas worth considering is the slogan of TED Talk, right? what we want to use here is a response when somebody proposes an idea, right? In a meeting at work, many times people propose ideas. And we want to make sure that we say, this is a good idea, or this is not a good idea, especially in a polite way. You cannot just simply say, this is not a good idea, right? So that's partly what we want to practice here. The word is going to be that, right? That's worth considering. If you like an idea, you don't have to say, you don't only have to say, I like that idea, or that's a good idea. You could say, well, that's worth considering. And it's a really cool one as well. Okay, so try to remember these. We had the first one. Thank you, Sulaiman, for the likes. Super grateful. He's been hitting his finger all the time. So we have, it might be worth doing something. A different approach would be, I think that will be tricky, which is when you don't like something. And then we have, I wouldn't recommend that. There's something in that. And then that's worth considering. That's good. If you have no idea, that means you're learning something new. All right, so we're gonna have a look at something new today. And I'm gonna switch my, it's. So Nanda said it's, that, right? We don't wanna use it's because it's is only used for a specific word. That is used when we refer to a complete sentence, right? So make sure we know the difference between when we say that and when we say it's, right? This is also the reason why we don't say it's true. We say that's true, right? Now, let me pull this up because I've got another slide here. And guys, if anybody's on TikTok, make sure you move over to YouTube. We have a live class on YouTube. You can click the link in my bio and go. No, I'm not a native speaker. Why is that a question? And then we've got the slide that I was planning to talk about today. So we've got a few sentences. These are all really cool ways we can describe movies, right? So we will talk about movies, series with our friends, international friends, colleagues, everybody else. So these are all really, really cool ways we can talk about movies. So we're gonna do a bit of a, maybe we're gonna just start with the words on the left. So we've got things like fast-paced. A fast-paced. What's your favorite movie, guys? Can you let us know in the comments? What's your favorite movie? Hamster Combat. That's a great one. Anyone else? You guys have a favorite movie? I think I'm still in love with Avatar 2, like The Way of Water. I think that was an amazing movie. But also Inside Out, the new one I haven't watched yet. And The Pirates of the Caribbean. Harry Potter, that's a great one too, yeah. I'm a big Harry Potter fan. Like, I'm reading the books. I read the books in 3 languages. Yeah, so I'm reading currently the second book in Japanese. So I highly recommend it. If you haven't read Harry Potter in English, and if you want to improve your vocabulary, expand your vocabulary, express yourself with a wider range of vocabulary, then read Harry Potter in English as well. It's really, really cool. The writing is amazing. And like, this is partly how I learned vocabulary. So I read the first 4 books, I think, in French. And then now I'm reading the second book, so Chamber of Secrets, in Japanese. The Battle of Two Towers, meaning, I think you mean the Two Towers from Lord of the Rings. All right, so we've got all these different words. Fast-paced. Think about Avengers. Avengers is a really fast-paced movie. We call it fast-paced because pace, in another word to say rhythm, right? So when something has something goes really fast. The scenes are changing. There is a dialogue and then a scene, and then people are jumping, fighting, sword fight, anything else. Avatar, and I love the I love the emoji. So a fast-paced movie would be Avatar as well. That's a great example too. Okay, can you think of other fast-paced movies? This is really, really great. For that, I will go for it. Think of any fast-paced movie, any movie that goes really fast. The scenes are changing, there's some dialogue, but also there's a lot of action. People are saving others, they are swimming, they're jumping everywhere. That's fast-paced, right? That's what keeps people's attention. Could you think of any fast-paced movie? What I'm doing now is a great way for you to remember vocabulary. We do this all the time with my students, and a lot of people don't, which is building associations, right? We want to be able to remember vocabulary in a conversation. Then we need to be able to engage with that vocabulary. We need to be able to know what that vocabulary is associated with. This is how we learn, right? Making connections. So fast pace. What is another? Game of Thrones is, yeah, some of the episodes. I think not all of them. Probably the authors got tired, not the authors, the producers, right? The creators got tired in seasons 5 and 6, so not every episode was that. But yeah, Fast and Furious is a good one. That's really fast-paced, right? The title also says that. Now, if you have a look at gripping, the next one is gripping. A gripping, you could use this word to talk about all kinds of things. So when something is gripping, it's usually exciting. Another way to say something exciting, something holds your attention because it grips you in, right? So could you think of a movie where your attention is there, you keep watching? It's like another way to say exciting. It grabs your attention. You could use it for a book as well. This book was so gripping, I couldn't put it down. Like recently I read, what did I read? Maybe The 4 Agreements. This is a self-improvement, self-development book that was gripping. Or Powers and Thorns, which is a history book. 800 pages, and I read it in like less than 2 weeks because it was gripping. Could you think of a gripping movie? Goodfellas. I don't know that movie. Oh yeah, that's a bit old, but yeah, it's as old as I am. It was released when I was born, but now I see. Probably a great movie. What is a gripping movie, guys? Could you think of an example? Thank you for the health potions, Azada. Guys on YouTube as well, let's keep those comment sections firing up. When you're learning English, you don't hide, you don't wait, oh, that's a good one, The 48 Laws of Power by Robert Greene. If you read that book, you are a powerful person, right? I'm currently reading, I don't have my back here, but I'm reading, I think the second book, the Human Behavior, what is it called? The human psychology, human nature, right? The laws of human nature. So an amazing book as well. I love Robert Greene. So Sulaiman, if that's your favorite book, we are already pals. We are already best friends. An anti-gravity book, I can't put it down. Anti-gravity book? An anti-gravity handbook? Right, that could be one. Exactly, laws of human nature. Yeah, so an unputdownable book. We can also use that word, right? We have this word, unputdownable. Where's my comment section? Unputdownable. You cannot put it down. You need to keep reading it, right? Absorb what it's all about, right? So if you guys are reading books, amazing, okay? All right, people left the live on YouTube. So guys, if anybody, there is a link in my bio. You can click on that link and join us on YouTube. So you could see a bigger screen. You could see it from your computer as well. And then we have the word gory. So gory means when something is full of blood, when there's a lot of aggression, there's a lot of violence, more like, and a lot of blood, we say it's gory. Like Anthony Robbins' books. I don't know Anthony Robbins. They're all new for me, but I'm gonna look this up. You guys, this is why I love our community. Maybe Tony Robbins. They are unputdownable, definitely. Okay, man, Tony Robbins. I mean, his name is Anthony, but he's known as Tony Robbins. So gory. Could you think of a gory, yeah, Spartacus, the series? Yeah, he's a good mentor. Yeah, I've done his meditations. I've done his trainings, and my whole life changed because I read his books. And you know, it's a really, really cool one. Definitely, you can become a millionaire simply by listening to Tony Robbins and taking it seriously what he's teaching. So Spartacus, yeah, the series. Because I think the movie, I don't know if I watched the movie, but yeah, the series is full of blood. There's a lot of blood there. But we can also think about anything else, like Sweeney Todd, Dracula, or anything else that comes to mind. And then we have the word hysterical. Anybody knows what that means? What does the word hysterical mean? When a movie is hysterical. I can learn NLP easier with Ross Jeffries. Yeah, but NLP, you know, NLP is useful, but we want to focus on subconscious processes and subconscious transformation. NLP is like surface level for personal transformation, but we want to go deeper. I don't know about Ross Jeffries. Personally, I was able to change my life without NLP. Because I focused on subconscious changes, which is what I teach to my students as a coach. Hello, how is it going? So think of a hysterical movie. Hysterical means very funny. So it's another way to say hilarious, right? Could you think of a hysterical movie? This is how we are learning vocabulary in a very powerful way, right? A lot of people are struggling with remembering vocabulary in a conversation, partly because they're not doing what we are doing on these lives and what we do in our classes with my students, making connections, engaging, using the vocabulary as much as we can, connecting it with as many things as we can, so we find it easier to remember. So think of an example. Examples are always super useful for you to remember vocabulary, like hysterical movies, comedies. What movies would be hysterical? Thank you for the likes. I can't read your name because it's in Arabic, but thank you so much. Think of movies you really enjoyed watching because it was hysterical. The Revenant, is that funny? Isn't Revenant the one with Leonardo DiCaprio? The Mask is a good one. Or maybe Addams Family. That's a comedy, I believe, right? Anything else that comes to mind? Awesome, you're Iraqi. I had a student from Iraq about a year ago, so I learned so much about Iraq. Part of, what makes me so passionate about learning English and speaking English is that I'm originally from Hungary, and if I didn't learn English, I wouldn't be able to connect with people from all around the world. So meeting Iraqi people, or I have students from Costa Rica, Mexico, Brazil, Indonesia, Japan, South Korea, France, Italy, right? Morocco. I wouldn't be able to meet them, learn from them if I didn't speak English. So it's always great to see people from around the world. Thank you so much for joining us. Then if we think about the next one, it says controversial. You might know this word already. A controversial can be a topic, can be a movie, can be a speech, can be a book, can be a theory, right? So many things can be controversial. Like Trump is a pretty controversial politician. Or The Passion, right? There was a movie that came out a long time ago, maybe 20 years ago. That was a really controversial movie as well, right? Now, the next one, it says outstanding. Could you think of a movie where you could use this word? What is outstanding? Guys, let's hit those likes a few times. Let's bring in more people. Let's see how many people can get on this live. We've got like 15 minutes left to learn some of this really cool vocabulary we could use in everyday conversations whenever you want to describe movies that you watch, series, books that you read. These are really cool expressions and phrases. Thank you so much for the share. That's like the best compliment, Sulaiman. Thank you so much. When you don't just like, but you also share. So super, super grateful. And this is literally the best way for you to make sure you remember vocabulary. You spend time with it. You engage with it. You connect in your mind the vocabulary with lots of other things. This is one thing we do in every class with my students, and it helps them speak with a wider range of vocabulary so they don't just repeat the same thing, basic expressions all the time, but they can express themselves. Hello, Abigail. Abigail, how is it going? You're from Zambia. Great to have you here. Welcome, welcome. What time is it in Zambia? Should be evening time, right? Like 6, 7. So we have outstanding, basically excellent, something which is 5 out of 5, right? Could you guys think of any movie that is outstanding? Thank you, Brian. What would be an outstanding movie? 10 out of 10. Any examples? We've seen a few of them. I think that we could also categorize as, would also fall into the category of an outstanding movie. Fire up the comment section, guys. Prison Break, that's a pretty good one. That was one of the first series I was watching in English. All English, no subtitles. I was like, what, 15, 16? Yeah, but Prison Break went when I was really young. Maybe, yeah, Sulaiman, how old are you? Are we the same age? Because if you remember Prison Break, you might. So the next one, this is way more important. Thought-provoking. A thought-provoking movie, 33, I'm 34. So just turned 34 last week. So we are from the same era. And yeah, Prison Break went when we were pretty young. We were like, what, 15 years old, I think? We were like teenagers. So yeah, that's pretty cool. So thought-provoking. When something is thought-provoking, it makes you think, right? The Greatest History Never Told. Is that a movie? Never heard of it. I'm gonna look that up. Maybe I should take a print screen. Thank you, William, for the recommendation. Although in English, we don't call it Adolfo, maybe that's the Spanish name. In English, it will be Adolf Hitler, because it's the German one. How can I speak English fluently? Which is a method should I follow? Method, maybe what you mean. So the method you should follow is discipline. But you speak English fluently when you speak. So how often do you practice speaking? When you speak, you focus on having regular conversations, you consistently challenge yourself, and you don't, expect improvement in like a short amount of time. You keep going and keep practicing, you're going to improve. That's the simplest method, right? But plus we want to focus on building your vocabulary memory, which is what we do a lot with my students. So a thought-provoking movie or a book would make, what is it called? May provoke something. If you say his name, your transmission may end up. I'm not sure what you mean. What is my transmission? I don't think TikTok would filter that, but I'm not sure what you mean about transmission. Transmission may end up what? It seems like an incomplete sentence. So thought-provoking, right? Something like, so broadcast end up, maybe you want to say my broadcast ends, not end up, but ends. So thought-provoking is when something makes you think, right? When something makes you reflect on things. So like, let's say there was this movie with Morgan, what is his name? I think there was a movie with like about Nelson Mandela, and it was pretty thought-provoking as well. Thank you, Clap Wet, for the share. So think of a thought-provoking movie. What would be a thought-provoking movie that comes to mind? Yeah, Morgan Freeman played it. Yeah, I think it was like The Pursuit of Happiness with Y. But did he play in that? Maybe not. No, that was not Morgan Freeman, sorry. I think that was Will Smith. Yeah. So that's a pretty thought-provoking movie. It makes you think, it makes you reflect on your life, right? Or if anybody read A Man's Search for Meaning, smiles. Have you guys read Man's Search for Meaning? Viktor Frankl, the Holocaust survivor. That's a pretty thought-provoking book. If anybody's looking for a purpose, you guys have no idea what to do with your life, you feel like you experience a crisis, then you can read that pretty book. The movie is made for 4. So Man's Search for Meaning, right? A really cool book, highly recommended. Then the next one is creepy. You might know this word. What could be a creepy movie? Things Fall Apart. That's a great one. Think about creepy movies. Scaring. Maybe you mean scary. So creepy is not exactly the same meaning as scary, but creepy is when it's like you cringe, right? You're like, oh, I don't like it. So it's not necessarily just scary, but also a bit weird as well. Okay, so if you have a look at the definition of creepy, it is a bit scary, not scaring, but scary. And a bit like weird, strange in a way as well. So you can have a creepy ghost story or a creepy Halloween movie or something, right? So there's this movie with the nun, right, which is pretty creepy. That could be one example. Or what was that called? I don't watch too many horror movies. Sweeney Todd, which we talked about before. That's a musical, but a horror musical. Or we can think about what else? We could think about the Descent, The Witch, right? There's so many different ones. This is creepy, for example, when we have bots like that. So let's move on and see full of suspense. When something is, oh yeah, The Walking Dead, definitely. So yeah, there are so many creepy people, guys. Social media sometimes shows you how the world is full of stupid people. Like this person previously, is he wasting his time with this? Commenting, I think we look alike, and then taking a picture insane. This is why, guys, protect your energy. The best thing you can do to build your confidence is to protect your energy from social media, from all the creeps, from all the crazy people. That's what I did. And it helped me incredibly build a better life for myself, my income, how I enjoy the different things I do. I just protect my energy from crazy people. All right. 1984, yeah, one of my favorite novels. Yeah, I had to read it when I was studying at university. So I was like, what, 19 when I read 1984 in English. And it has been my favorite book ever. Have you read Brave New World? Because if you like 1984, you probably like Brave New World as well, from Aldous Huxley. And then we've got two more left. So we've got Full of Suspense, which is pretty similar to Fast-Paced. So Full of Suspense is when you have a lot of excitement there. You have a lot of times you are feeling like you don't know what's coming next. You are at the edge of your seat and you're really looking for what's coming next, right? That's Full of Suspense. There's a lot of excitement in the movie. So we could think of I don't know, a detective sort of story, right? Like Sherlock, or anything else that comes to mind. What would be a movie that's full of suspense? And guys, feel free to join us. We've got my YouTube channel. There's a link over there to the live class, and you can join us and watch the class over there as well. Any movie that's full of suspense? These are really cool phrases that you could use all the time you talk about movies. When you describe movies to your friends, you have an informal conversation with people. We don't just want to say something is nice, something is good, something is boring, right? We want to use a wider range of vocabulary. This is partly why this is super important. And then we have the word touching. So when a movie is touching, that means it's emotional. Okay, so when you have a romantic movie, romantic series, it can be pretty touching. Like Titanic is a classic example, right? They have touching scenes when Jack is drawing Rose, or when Jack falls into the ocean and Rose doesn't make him enough space, right? On the door or on the whatever they are floating on. That's a touching scene as well. Okay, so try to remember these. If anybody wants, you can see the slides on my YouTube channel. Okay, there's gonna be a link where you can join and then download the files, the PDFs, so you can have them and practice them. The important thing about vocabulary is to have regular conversations where you use these so you can remember them better. Okay. Now, if anybody wants to, so I'm gonna close up the live one everywhere. Thank you so much, guys, for joining. If anybody wants to and you wanna build your confidence, I've got an amazing book already ready for you. It's a free ebook that you can download. There's gonna be a link in my bio, and it's all about how you can build your confidence in speaking English. We also have a community for professionals, serious English learners, entrepreneurs, academics. We talk about some intellectual, serious topics. If you want to join, we have a weekly meeting together, conversation class, all for free. Again, not for everyone, only for entrepreneurs, ambitious professionals who want to improve, bring the best out of themselves to build their career, academics, or students who want to build their exam skills as well. So feel free to join our community and download my free ebook, which is going to give you the step-by-step method on how I built my confidence and was able to speak English confidently when I was about 20 years old and created my dream life, living in another country, building my own business, and creating opportunities for myself because I built confidence in myself. So check this out. You can download this link on my profile page, or you could see a link in the description on YouTube. And thank you so much, guys, for joining. Thank you, Sulaiman, for the comments, the support, the likes, William for the comments. Who else participated regularly? I don't know. Okay, Abigail also sent a few comments here as well. And ADG Kanbiju. So thank you so much, guys, for your support. Super, super grateful. Try to remember these. Check out the ebook and join our community if you have ambitions and you want to really seriously build your confidence to get a better job and improve your life. That's my goal with my business. Thank you so much, guys, for joining. Hope to see you soon.